Hello, I'm Bill LeMay, and thank you for watching Community Matters on MyRDC. We'll hope you'll continue to watch as we discuss issues facing our community and provide you with the resources and information needed to find solutions. Today, we're talking about our capital city, Raleigh. Over the past few years, Raleigh has seen incredible growth. It's frequently ranked among the nation's top cities for business and lifestyle. But how does it stay ahead of the curve? Well, joining us now is Ken Bowers, Director of City Planning for the City of Raleigh. And Ken, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Here's a very obvious question. What does the planning department do?
Okay, so what the planning department does is we, in a general sense, provide information, data analysis, policy development, and guidance for the City Council, for appointed boards and commissions, most notably our Planning Commission, and then also for other departments within the city.
Well, and I know that as you look at Raleigh growing, and you've been here long enough to know, since the early 70s, I guess, that it seems it can't get any faster, but yet it does. How do you plan for something like that?
So growth is nothing new. One of the things I did when I got here was look at our population statistics going back to the very first census in Raleigh, which is 1800. And for over 200 years, we've grown at about 3 to 4% a year on average, which in today's world translates to about 12,000 new residents on an annual basis, 5,000 new housing units, several million square feet of non-residential floor space. So it's a lot of growth and development to plan for. Our main tool for doing that is the city's comprehensive plan. And the city's comprehensive plan tries to bring together in one place all of the policies and actions that relate to physical development of the city. And it coordinates both land use, the transportation system, the road network, as well as community facilities, stormwater, public utilities, everything that relates to, that supports the functioning of the city.
So as you plan out, and this is a 30-year comprehensive plan.
Yes.
And you take all those factors in, break it down for me, because a city then has to decide, well, we're going to zone this commercial, or we're going to zone this residential, and this is where the road's going to go. How do you decide that?
Okay, so our based on the projections, how much growth do we need to accommodate? What are the places most suitable for growth? They have the infrastructure capacity, and also looking at conserving the things that our residents want to conserve, open spaces, parks, their residential neighborhoods, maintaining the character. We have to identify on our land use plan, what are the places that can accommodate this growth? Some of them are undeveloped land on the edge of town, but also some of them are areas inside of the city that are more centrally located that can accommodate growth through the redevelopment process. And we're seeing both processes drive growth going forward. The land use plan is really at the key of deciding where the city can grow. And you mentioned zoning. Every year, folks petition the council to change the zoning on their property, and the council, before making that decision, consults with the comprehensive plan to see whether the zoning that the landowner is proposing is consistent with our plan or not.
Now you talked about, vision. Let's talk about the vision of the overall plan. How is that arrived at?
We went through a very broad-based community process over the time period of 2007 to 2009 to adopt our current plan. The plan document we have was adopted in its current format in 2009, although it's been amended by the City Council on an annual basis ever since. That process involved thousands of our citizens. We had many public meetings throughout the city where hundreds of residents would show up to make their views known. We had an initial set of workshops to sort of set the vision and overall direction, a second set of workshops to look at specific policy responses to that vision, and a third set of workshops to sort of test, here's a draft of the document, and get feedback on that. We also put everything out on our website. We were extremely transparent. Every document that was prepared pursuant to this process was published, and we actually created a special website where people could comment directly in the draft document before it went to our commission and council for adoption.
Well, I don't know if this is frustrating for you or not, but let's get into just the little politics of all of it, because you have residents, right?
Yes.
You have developers, you have businesses, you have obviously the city council, which has residents that they're speaking for. How do you put it all together, Ken?
Managing change is one of the most difficult parts of our job, and also looking at the interests of the different stakeholders. In any high growth community, development is a significant part of the local economy and jobs base. And so there's an economic interest there. There's a neighborhood interest in preserving the quality of life in neighborhoods. There's a community-wide interest in having a healthy economy and a healthy tax base. And all these different factors have to be balanced against each other. We also have to look, of course, at the impact of growth on our natural environment, which is another key part of making us a high quality of life city and a healthy place to live.
So as years go by, you already mentioned that there are amendments to the plan.
Yes.
How does that come about?
So we typically look on an annual basis do a progress report on plan implementation. The plan has a lot of action items. When we check them off the list as being completed, we'll typically take them out of the plan because they are done, and we keep a record of all of those and report to the council every year on that. If there have been some changes or some decisions made that seem to require us to adjust a policy or two in the plan, we will propose that to the city council for their consideration. On a less than frequent basis, every several years, we try to do a more major update where we look at we update all the data and analysis and trend line analysis that went into the development of the plan, and we go back out to the public, sort of checking in, how are we doing with implementation? Do you see any need to adjust the vision? And what would you like to see maybe altered in the plan? And we've been doing that since last year. We've had 2 rounds of public meetings and are finalizing some larger amendments to go to the council later this year.
So I noticed recently, or in the past year or so, biking, walking has become kind of a big issue in Raleigh.
Yes,
I mean,
it has.
a desire to have more of that.
Right.
Is that kind of an example of how you amend the plan, or has that always been in the plan?
Well, I would say that it potentially a focus on more mixed-use walkable places was a
Right.
focus that really was put into the plan with the 2009 adoption, and we have continued to refine that. Subsequent to that, the city did its first bicycle master plan. We then did a pedestrian plan, and then now we've updated our bicycle master plan for version 2. And so we incorporate these new planning efforts into the city's overall comprehensive planning framework. So a lot of work has been done, particularly on the bicycling side. When our plan was done, we had, I think, 1 bike lane in town. We now have many, many miles of bike lanes and more on the way. And of course, our greenway system, which is another key part of that infrastructure, has continued to expand significantly until we now have over 110 miles of greenway within Raleigh.
This might be a silly question, I don't know. Does your plan incorporate big things in the sense that we'd like to put a stadium here, we'd like to do that? Or is that, or you know what I'm saying? Or are we
Right.
just talking about just the overall build houses here?
Right. So the
businesses
comprehensive
here?
plan is a very general plan, so it provides general guidance that's citywide in scope. We do have a downtown element that talks about these things, but the decision to put a specific type of facility in a specific location is usually subject to a more targeted process that looks at that. So the comp plan may set that up by saying we should look at entertainment venues downtown, but in terms of what money gets spent and what things get located where, there's typically a more focused special purpose process to make that type of site-specific decision.
So for folks who are watching today, like maybe some input that they missed out on or some more information, where do they get it?
Our website is a great clearinghouse of information. We have project pages for every pending planning effort, including for the comprehensive plan update. They can email us and contact us at any time with any comments they would have about how they think the plan can be approved. If we don't get in this update cycle, there are always going to be other update cycles with which we can do that. We very much encourage citizen participation in all of its forms, and we're looking at having some additional meetings that will look at some specific areas in the comp plan, such as the intersection between transit and land use in the coming years.
Well, you're doing a great job because a lot of people are still coming. They're liking it.
Yes.
Ken, thank you so much. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it. Don't go away. We'll find out everything you want to know about the exciting new destination park in Raleigh.